What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 2006 film, The Foot Fist Way. So, the basic story of The Foot Fist Way is you have this Taekwondo instructor. He has a little operation, a couple of students, and he's not like a super Zen type Taekwondo instructor. He's just super abrasive, and he drives a Ferrari, and he just drinks beers every night. And the reason that is because this movie was based on a Taekwondo instructor that the director Jody Hill had. So I don't know if all of you are familiar with Jody Hill, but he's done all kinds of stuff in Hollywood. Some of this, I'm not familiar with all of his stuff, but some of the stuff of his that I really enjoy is this movie. I'm a big fan of the TV show Eastbound and Down, which he co-created with Danny McBride and another guy. Actually, I think he created it with the other guy who plays Chuck the Truck in this. But yeah, they created Eastbound and Down, which is that's one of my favorite shows of all time. That is one of the most hilarious shows out there. I absolutely love that show. I'm not even a show guy. I'm more of a movie guy. I never even get into shows, but I was so into that show. I didn't watch it when it came out. I don't have HBO or anything like that. I just found it on DVD one day. I knew nothing about it, and I saw Danny McBride on the cover. I'm a fan of his, so I picked it up. I took a chance, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. How have I never heard about this? But I watched every season. I loved that. And the other Jody Hill movie that I'm really familiar with is Observe and Report with Seth Rogen. It's I think it came out the same year as Paul Blart Mall Cop, and it's the same premise where it's he's a mall cop, but it's way darker. I don't think Paul Blart Mall Cop. I can't speak. I don't think Paul Blart Mall Cop is rated R. I think that's PG-13 or PG. I saw that in the theater like way back. I don't remember that, but Observe and Report is R rated. It's super. It's a super dark comedy. I would consider this a dark comedy as well. But to get back to what I was saying, I was just talking about a little bit of Jody Hill's filmography and stuff like that. But yeah, Jody Hill, this is his first film, and he based it off of his real experiences because he had done Taekwondo his entire life, and he is a black belt. He was a Taekwondo instructor, but he based the main character. The main character is named Fred Simmons, and he based that character off this real Taekwondo instructor that he had that was basically this redneck guy who drove a Corvette and just drank beer all the time, some like all-American type dude, which is funny because, you usually think of a Taekwondo instructor, karate instructor as a super Zen, peaceful type individual. So it was fun to have a character like this. It was, he was totally out of his element. The basic story is, so this, I just keep touching this. I just got the DVD here. I picked this up yesterday. Is that in focus? I believe so. But yeah, I picked this up yesterday. I got it at Disc Replay. Shouts out to Disc Replay. I got a whole ton of stuff, so I'll probably be reviewing some other stuff that I got. But shouts out to Disc Replay. It's an awesome store. They had like a buy 3 get 6 free situation going on, which you can't beat that. You gotta take your time in there. There's a lot of BS, but you can find some cool stuff. This I haven't seen on any of like the streaming services. I cannot speak today. I haven't seen this on any of the streaming services that I subscribe to, so that was cool to pick it up. I'm definitely a big fan of this. Even after watching it again, it still holds up. It's a great time. So the story is you have this guy, Fred Simmons. He's teaching his karate classes. Everything's all good, but it's stuff goes a little bit stray when he finds out that his wife is cheating on him. So yeah, he just starts to doubt himself. He just becomes a total emotional wreck. And later on in the movie, him and a couple of his students, they go meet their idol at this like expo, and his name's Chuck the Truck. He's in all these kung fu movies. He's like a C-list celebrity. So they meet him and they go to this party, and this Chuck the Truck, he's supposed to be like a role model. It's the type of thing where it's like you don't want to meet your idols, you don't want to meet your heroes, because they meet this guy, he's their idol, but he turns out just to be a total piece of shit. He's just irresponsible, he's always doing drugs, he's doing cocaine, he's drinking like crazy, he doesn't care about his fans, all he cares about is money. But anyways, yeah, they go, I don't know, I keep touching that, I'm like getting all fidgety. But anyways, they go to this party, one thing leads to another, they start fighting fools, beating everyone up. Chuck the Truck's impressed, he's like, okay, I'll do the expo at your studio, and he for 10 grand, which is hilarious because, I mean, for his celebrity status, I mean, a couple hundred would be would make sense, or even 1,000 tops for an appearance. 10 grand, I don't. That's Danny McBride's character. He doesn't make the best decisions, so after that, that's a lot of money. Danny McBride's character, Fred Simmons, he runs this little Taekwondo studio. He's not balling like that, but somehow he has a Ferrari, that he drives a Ferrari the entire movie. I don't know how he afforded that. And then that's what I was thinking too. When it's like a beautiful vintage Ferrari and in perfect condition, and did he only sell it for 10 grand? Because I'm thinking that would go for way more. Like when, I mean, it seems like an older one, so when it came out, it probably wasn't as much as the newer ones. But the newer Ferraris are what, 250, 300,000? Even if it's used, it's not gonna be 10 grand. But anyways, he sells it to this guy. That was a funny interaction because the guy who's buying it, he's like, my wife said if I spend this money and I buy this car, she's gonna leave me, but I don't even care. I want to buy the car. So, pause. I gotta think for a sec. So, where am I here? One moment. Yeah. So, he sells the car. He gets the money. Chuck the Truck comes to his house, and he leaves for a little bit, and Chuck the Truck gets with his wife. She's cheating on him again. He fights Chuck the Truck, and he gets all bloody, and everyone's at the expo except Danny McBride's character. He gets there, and he challenges Chuck the Truck to this board breaking / cement breaking competition. And spoiler alert, Danny McBride's character wins. And before this, his wife, after cheating on him with like a billion dudes throughout the movie, tries to get back with him again, and he's just had it. He's over it. So he whips out his ring and he takes a piss on it. So it was a super satisfying ending for the character because he was kind of in a rut for a while. He kind of lost his mojo there. He was, questioning like if he really still had it, but he beat Chuck the Truck, who was like you know, the Taekwondo master, and he finally stood up to his wife and stopped taking her stuff. There was a couple other characters uh, at the end that really, you know, displayed a lot of growth. These two main kids, one of them, I believe his name was Julio. He was this little chubby kid. He really stepped up at the end. He was directing the entire class. And then this other kid, he was like a high school age kid. I forgot what his name was, but he had to go up against like the biggest dude in the class who had serious anger issues, and this guy would always just beat him up. And whenever he would beat up the high school guy, he would have to do 50 push-ups for using excessive force. But the high school guy's totally getting his ass beat, and towards the end of the fight, he just turns it all around. He starts whipping out crazy kicks, and he totally demolishes this super big dude, and then he has to do 25 push-ups for using excessive force. So that was nice. That was really satisfying. I liked that. That guy that I'm talking about, the super big guy. There was this one sequence. It was so hilarious. So there's this little chubby old lady, this little sweet old lady, and for some reason they they have him spar with her, and then they're just practicing at first, and they're like, okay, go full force. So he just winds up, does the biggest uppercut imaginable, and knocks her out. They're like, someone check her pulse, is she alive? That was one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie. That's what I'm saying. This comedy is kind of like Observe and Report, where it's kind of a dark comedy. Nothing too dark, but it is kind of I would kind of categorize it as a dark comedy. Some other standout funny scenes are he's at the dinner table and he's saying I'm so hungry I could eat a whole man's ass or something like that, and he's just being really awkward with this other couple they're having dinner with, and then he's doing he's saying grace, and he's like, thank you God for this food that I paid for with my own money. That was awesome. I mean, this movie, 10 out of 10, would recommend it. It still holds up. This is only the second time I've seen it, but you know, sometimes even if you see a movie like a second time, after the first time, like the first, like the magic kind of wears off the second time you see it. That did not happen for me this time. It's not like I've seen it a million times, but I mean, I wish I found out about it sooner, but I'm not that cool. Yeah, this movie was so darn awesome. It was a great time. I would definitely recommend it, and the story is super interesting too because it's Jody Hill's first movie. He pretty much funded most of it himself. He was just he went to art school with Danny McBride, and at the time when he was making this movie, he was just working like local TV jobs and stuff like that, and he just said he would, you know, he wouldn't spend money. A lot of people were buying flashy cars and jewelry and expensive clothes, and he would just stay in the house and watch Netflix, and he saved up all his money and he funded most of this. On the online it said that the budget was $79,000, which is super low. This definitely doesn't look like it was made for $79,000. They really worked well with the resources that they had, but I don't think he put up the entire 79,000. I think he put up, I don't know exactly, but I think he put up something like 30,000, which is still insane. That's a huge risk. I mean, he really risked it all, and it paid off because he has a super successful career now. But he did have investors too, because he was actually saying that was how he got the Ferrari, because it's like this, it doesn't add up. The budget's only 79,000. where's the budget for the Ferrari? Even though they're renting it, that's still expensive. Why would they do that? But basically, that was his dad's friend, and since he was a kid, they would always see the Ferrari, and they thought it was cool. He was a doctor, and he helped invest in the movie, and they're like, hey, can we use your Ferrari? So that's how they got the Ferrari. But I've pretty much said everything I have to say. I had a great time with this. I would definitely recommend it. So I'm just about to end this video. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.